Your sister's party looked like something from a magazine. When are you planning yours? Mom said while sipping her wine. I put down my napkin and looked right at her. Actually, I threw mine 18 months ago. You weren't invited, though. Her wine glass stopped halfway to her mouth. My dad's newspaper crinkled loud. My nephew dropped his toy car, even the waiter walking by PAUSED. The whole restaurant went silent, like someone unplugged the music. I'm Deanna. I'm 34 years old. And for 3D CADES, I've been the daughter who gets forgotten. The practice child. The rough draft, my younger sister Natalie. She's the masterpiece, the favorite. The one who can do no wrong me. I'm like that extra character in the background of family photos. They're but blurry. But tonight was my moment. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't make a scene. I just told the truth. One sentence. And everything stopped. They wanted me to catch up to Natalie. But the funny thing, I wasn't even running her race anymore. I built my own track, won my own medals. They just never bothered to show up and watch. This story didn't start at that dinner. It started way before Mom's wine glass froze, before I realized that being quiet your whole life doesn't make you weak. It just means you're storing energy. And honey, I was about to explode. I was 15 when everything changed. That's when Natalie was born. Dad said she was a miracle baby. They didn't think they could have more kids. So when she arrived, she became the center of the universe. Every milestone was celebrated like she invented walking. Meanwhile, I was a teenager trying to figure out life. Nobody noticed. When I got my driver's license, Mom said that's good and went back to filming Natalie's first steps for the 100th time. When I made honor roll, Dad said, "Proud of you, kiddo," without looking up from playing peekaboo. I learned early that my achievements were just background noise to Natalie's symphony. By the time I was 18, I was basically the third parent. Changing diapers, making bottles, babysitting every weekend while Mom and Dad went on date nights. Did they pay me? Nope. Did they thank me? Sometimes. With a pat on the head like I was the family dog. When I went to college, I thought finally I'd get some attention, but every call home was just updates about Natalie. She said her first sentence. She drew a picture. She used the potty. Cool, I'm studying for finals and eating ramen for the third day straight, but sure, let's talk about potty training. I graduated with a business degree. Mom and Dad came to the ceremony. They left after 30 minutes because Natalie got bored. I have exactly 2 photos from my graduation, both blurry. Natalie has an entire album from her preschool graduation. Make it make sense. My 20s were more of the same, me working hard, Natalie being WORSHIPPED. I got a job at a marketing firm, worked 60-hour weeks, climbed the ladder. Nobody asked how work was going. But when Natalie made the soccer team at age 12, Mom threw a party, invited the whole neighborhood, posted about it for WEKS. When I got promoted to senior account manager at 28, Mom said, "That's wonderful, honey," and immediately showed me photos of Natalie's dance recital. I smiled, like I always did. But inside, I was screaming. One Christmas, Natalie got a car, a brand new car, for her 16th birthday. I got a used Honda at 18 that I had to pay for myself. When I mentioned that, Dad said, "Well, times were different back then. We can afford it now." Oh, okay. So I suffered through broke times so Natalie could benefit from good times. Got it. That's when I started pulling away. Not dramatically, just quietly. I stopped calling as much, stopped showing up to every family thing. When they asked why, I'd say work is busy or I'm tired. Both were true. But the real truth, I was tired of being invisible. I was 30 years old and still waiting for my parents to see me. So I stopped waiting. I started building a life they'd never even know about. And honestly, that's when everything changed. Around 31, I decided to start my own business. I'd been managing other people's brands for years, making them successful. Why not do it for myself? I used my savings, rented a small office space, started a digital marketing agency called Elevate Media. My college friend Priya thought I was crazy. She said, "You're leaving a good job with benefits to do what?" "Start something that's mine," I told her. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. But you know what? Within 6 months, I had 10 clients. By the end of year 1, I had 25. Turns out when you actually care about helping small businesses grow and don't charge them like you're buying a yacht, they stick with you. Wild. I worked all the time. Early mornings, late nights, weekends, but it didn't feel like work. It felt like freedom. I was building something real, something that had my name on it, not my parents' approval, not Natalie's shadow, just mine. And for the first time in my life, I felt alive. I didn't tell my family about the business, not because I was hiding it, But because I didn't want to hear "that's nice, honey" while they scrolled through Natalie's Instagram, I just did it, quietly, powerfully, like a storm they never saw coming. Then I met Sophia. She owned a bakery, came to me needing help with social media. We clicked immediately. She was funny, smart, could bake a cake that made you believe in magic. We started dating after 3 months of pretending we were just working together. Spoiler, we were not just working together. 2 years into dating, Sophia and I bought a townhouse together. It wasn't huge, but it had character, exposed brick, big windows, a backyard with an actual garden. We painted every room ourselves, hung art we picked, made it feel like home. One evening, we decided to throw a housewarming, nothing fancy, just close friends, people who knew us, who celebrated us, not out of obligation, but because they actually liked us. We grilled in the backyard. Sophia made this incredible lemon cake. Our friend Marcus brought a plant that he promised we couldn't kill. Narrator voice, we killed it 3 months later. Oops, that night our little townhouse was full of warmth, laughter, music, real joy. Sophia's best friend Anna gave a toast. She said, "To Diana and Sophia, 2 women who built something beautiful, and I'm not just talking about this house." Everyone cheered. I felt my throat get tight, not sad tight, happy tight. Because for once I was surrounded by people who saw me, who valued me. When the last guest left, Sophia and I sat on the back porch. The lights were still twinkling. I looked around and realized something big. I didn't miss my family. I didn't feel like something was missing. I felt whole, for the first time ever. This was my housewarming. The one my parents never knew existed. And it was perfect, because it was real. No performance, no comparison, just love. And that's when I knew I wasn't chasing Natalie anymore. I wasn't chasing anyone. I'd already won. Peace lasted about 8 months. Then the phone call came. Diana, Mom said, her voice all sugary. "Natalie bought a house. She's having a huge party this weekend. You have to come." I almost said no, but curiosity got me. I wanted to see what all the hype was about, so Sophia and I went. Natalie's house was ridiculous. Like, did she buy a house or a resort? Huge. Everything was white, gray, beige. It looked like a dentist's office. Beautiful but cold. No personality, just expensive. Natalie was wearing a designer dress, holding court like she was royalty. Mom was acting like she built the house with her own hands. She kept saying, "Isn't this stunning? Natalie worked so hard for this." I looked at Sophia. She whispered, "This looks like a furniture store. Are we allowed to sit on anything?" I had to bite my lip to stop laughing. During the grand tour, Natalie showed off her walk-in closet. It was bigger than our first apartment. She looked at me and said, "This is probably bigger than your whole house, right, Diana?" 5 years ago, that would have crushed me. Now I just smiled sweetly. "It's lovely, Nat. Must take forever to vacuum." Her smile, TWITCHED. Sophia literally SNORTED. Later, I saw my reflection in one of Natalie's massive mirrors. Same face, same me, but different energy. She had square footage, I had peace. And I knew which one mattered more. We left early. Sophia said, "That place felt like a museum, pretty but lifeless." "Exactly," I said, "exactly." A few months later, Mom called again. "Diana, sweetheart," she said softly, "I need to talk to you about something. Natalie's getting divorced." I sat down, took a breath, then said, "I'm sorry to hear that. That must be really hard." Mom kept talking fast. "The mortgage is too high. Brad's not helping with payments. She might lose the house." Then came the question I saw coming from a mile away. I was hoping maybe you could help her out, just until she gets back on her feet. I closed my eyes. I remembered being 22, asking Dad for help with my student loans. He said, "You need to learn to manage money yourself, Diana. That's how you grow." Now they wanted me to bail out Natalie. "Mom," I said slowly, "do you remember when I asked for help and you told me to figure it out alone?" "This is different," she snapped. "Natalie has a mortgage, real responsibilities." "Actually," I said, "Natalie bought a house she couldn't afford to impress people who don't even like her." "That's not my problem." The silence was so loud. Then Mom said, "I didn't raise you to be this selfish." "No," I said, "you raised me to be invisible. There's a difference." I hung up. Sophia found me sitting on the couch. She didn't say anything, just sat next to me, held my hand. After a while, she said, "I'm proud of you." That's all I needed to hear. For the next month, my phone was chaos. Texts from Mom, voicemails from Dad. Even Natalie sent a long message about how family is supposed to help family. I replied with one line. "Where were you when I was struggling?" She never responded. Priya called me dying with laughter. She said, "Girl, your family group chat is wild right now. Half of them think you're a hero, the other half thinks you're evil." I laughed. I'm not evil, I just have boundaris now. She paused. That's honestly iconic. I know, I said. I've been practicing. But honestly, I didn't feel guilty. For the first time in my entire life, I felt powerful. Boundaries aren't mean, they're necessary, and mine were finally solid. Months went by. Natalie sold the house, moved into a 2-bedroom apartment, got a job she actually liked, started therapy, stopped posting her entire life on Instagram, and honestly, she seemed lighter, more real, less like a performing robot. She even texted me once. You were right. I was living for other people's approval. I'm sorry I never appreciated what you were building. I didn't reply immediately, but eventually I wrote back. Thanks. I hope things get better. Mom still calls, but the conversations are different now. Shorter, careful, like she's walking on EGGSHELLS. Dad told me last month he's proud of my business. It only took him 4 years to say it. Better late than never, I guess. Sophia says I'm lighter now. She's right. I wake up without that heavy feeling. I take vacations. I laugh more. I'm not performing for anyone anymore. I'm just living. And that's the sweetest revenge there is. Here's what I learned in my 34 years. Being the forgotten child doesn't make you less. It makes you stronger. You learn to build things quietly, to believe in yourself when nobody else does, to create a life so solid that you don't need applause. One day, you're not the background anymore. You're the main character of your own story, and everyone else is scrambling to catch up. If you've spent your life being compared to a sibling, stop right now. You don't have to be like them. You have to be you. Messy. Successful, quiet, loud, whatever your version is, own it. Stop waiting for people to notice you. Build a life so good that you're the one celebrating it every single day. That's the real glow up. Family should lift you up, but sometimes they hold you down. And it's okay to let go of people who only reach for you when they need something. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not hurt. I'm just free. And freedom at 34 feels like breathing after holding your breath for 30 years. Elevate Media is thriving now, by the way. I have a team of 8 people. We work with over 60 clients. I even speak at marketing conferences now. Me, the invisible kid, speaking on SDAGES. Sophia and I got a puppy last year. His name is Bagel. He's small, fluffy, and eats everything he's not supposed to. We love him so much. Life isn't perfect, but it's mine. And that's worth more than any childhood approval I used to beg for. So yeah. Mom asked when I'd catch up to Natalie. Turns out I lapped her 6 years ago. I just didn't throw a party to announce it. Because real success doesn't need a crowd. It just needs inner peace. And I finally found mine. I ran into Natalie 2 months ago at a coffee shop. Total accident. She was in line ahead of me. Her hair was in a messy bun. She wore leggings and a sweatshirt. No designer labels, no fake smile, just Natalie, real Natalie. We locked eyes. For a second, I thought about leaving, but she smiled, genuinely. We sat outside and talked for over an hour, really talked. She told me about her new job, how therapy was helping, how she realized she'd been performing her whole life. I told her about my business, about Sophia, about finally feeling like myself. She said, I'm really proud of you, Diana. I should have said that years ago. I was so busy being the favorite that I never realized how hard you were working. I didn't cry, but something shifted, like a weight lifting off. Forgiveness is strange. It doesn't erase the past, but it makes space for a better future. I forgave her, not because she deserved it, but because I deserved peace. So here's how my story ends. Or maybe how it really begins. I'm 34. I run a successful business. I have a partner who sees all of me. A dog named Bagel who makes every day chaotic and wonderful. Friends who show up. And a family that's slowly learning to see me as more than the backup child. I'm not invisible anymore. I'm not the practice round. I'm Diana. And that's more than enough. If you've ever felt like you had to compete with a sibling for love, stop. You're not in a race. You're on your own path. And your path is just as important, maybe more. The people who truly love you don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be real. And the ones who can't see your value, they're not your people. Let them go, build your empire, celebrate your wins, invite people who cheer when you succeed. And when someone asks when you're going to catch up, smile and say, I'm not chasing anyone, I already won. Because peace isn't loud. Success isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's waking up and loving the life you built. That's the glow up that lasts forever. To everyone watching who's ever been overlooked, underestimated, or made to feel small, I see you. Your story matters, your win is coming. And when it arrives, it will be so sweet. I promise. Thanks for watching. This is Iron Revenge. And remember, the best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's building a life so good that their opinion doesn't even matter anymore.